We are live today with Adam from Honyocker. How are you doing, buddy?
Doing good, Andy. How are you, my man?
I am doing fabulous. It's been a good busy week for me, very solid. So, how was your week?
I would echo that, my man. Very, very busy as well. Spent all day with my son. Took him back just a couple hours ago, so I could get home and get myself ready to rock and roll with you tonight, buddy.
I totally appreciate it. Appreciate your time. So, it took me a bit to get into the Honyocker family. And I am going to say that I was favorably impressed. In many ways, I've seen these products out for a while, and I was just like, I wanted to get you as a reviewer. You get to that point to where you're like, something's drawing me there, and I'll tell you, Zenlin did it for me.
Right.
I'm a meditator. I saw Zen in the pack. I saw Zen in there. I'm like, oh yes, that's my kind of thing right there. So I bought that, and then I bought North Country, and wow. I was trying to figure out which one I was more impressed with because both were so complex and so good, but in different ways. Like North Country, it took Woodsy to another level. I was like, I can smell like forest in this. It's not just, I can smell the earth in this.
Yeah,
Ah,
that's that one was. I must admit, man, that one was not 100% me. Um, it was me that created it, but I had one of my really faithful stand-up customers and guys that, like most of them, become my pals, man, and lives in upstate New York. And he said, "Man, Adam, can you do me a favor and try to make this for me?" And I was like, "Yeah, man, for you, absolutely, buddy." And so he sent me what he kind of thought would be good in it, and started messing around with it, man. And I was like, man, this is such a different, unique take on outdoor stuff. And it was one that really didn't take a lot of effort. It was one that I got lucky enough to where I messed around with it just a few times and got it where I wanted it. But it's got, I think, four or five different things in it. But the fig gives it almost a grassiness.
yes.
And then it's weird because it's got the honey and a little bit of vanilla in it, and then it has some woods and earth fragrances in it. So it's kind of multifaceted on almost things you wouldn't expect an outdoorsy scent to have in it. And I think that's what makes it kind of unique compared to a lot of standard outdoor scents.
That's exactly what I said, and that's as a person that just absolutely loves beard oils. I love that complexity and then twist. It's like, hey, here's some woodsy, and then here's a twist on you will never know what the heck is in this, and that is awesome. Now, when you did that, how long did it take you? So you said you just kind of mixed it a little bit, but it was like a month process, 2 month process.
No, now there are several of mine. Anybody that ever listens to me talk about the way I create, and I feel so awful for everybody that joins because I seem so redundant, but I must preface it this way so that people understand in the fact that I only create when I have a spark to do so. I don't want to force anything. If you may see out of me, Andy, I may come out with 3 cents in 3 months, and then I may be absent for 6 months until I get something that pops into my head that really drives me to want to create. And I've had some body language. The latest one, I just talked to the Flying Beardsman, John, when I did his taping, I believe it was Monday, that, I would wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning because I could not sleep, go put my headphones on. That was my inspiration for that scent, and just keep working and keep grinding. I don't just go grab stuff and throw it together because I think it smells good. I have to have a vision preloaded into my mind to do it. I'm just weird like that, man.
But that's art, right? That's what artists do that. And in this business, which is what I appreciate, is the artist, the creator who is passionate about what they're doing, has that creative spark and says, I have to create this. It may be, in this case, it's wonderful beard oil, beard products. But what I think is also is that we get to enjoy it as men, this wonderful art that is, I mean, it's outstanding. There's a few companies where I go, that is outstanding. And you're one of them. I was blown away. And I
appreciate that, brother.
Yeah, and the complexity is what gets me. I'm a complex person. There's a couple companies out there that have really good complex scents, and that is what I really like. Is that you're adding those layers, and then also I know that I've watched your videos, and I knew there was artistry involved in it. That passion for what you're doing. It's not just slapping on some labels, throwing some stuff together. It's about the vision and passion for you. Now, when you go through your process of creativity, so what kind of sparks you normally, and then how do you proceed from there?
Yeah, I mean, realistically, I just I don't count on something to inspire me, right? Maybe I'm listening to a song. Maybe I have something that happens in my life one day that makes me think a little more than I normally would, that invokes some kind of thought in my mind. Maybe a memory, maybe a thought from the past or something going. Literally, I don't try to force that, man. So I don't have a good answer for you on that.
But that's okay. But you get the point where it's something that sparks a memory, sparks a thought, and then you go down. Now, what makes you say, now I can how do you think about that and then put that into an oil or a scent based on?
So honestly, man, let's see, what's a good one to take? Let's take memoirs, man. Memoirs has been a very big seller for us. And I will take you down a path of what goes on in my mind for that. Okay. So,
cool.
And I don't think I've ever told anybody this on any kind of live stream. So lucky you. But, realistically, man, when I do this, like for instance, memoirs, I'm very big into reminiscing in past good times and things like that. I love to remember good times, fun times from as a kid and different things. And I envisioned myself as an older man at the time. And then I put myself in an atmosphere of what I would be doing if I was writing my memoirs. I would be at a desk. I may have a pipe with me. I may have a drink. I may have, a book that I'm writing my memoirs down in, and I go get those fragrances and I combine all those. I pick pictures out of my head on what I would be doing and place them in. So in memoirs, you have vintage leather-bound book fragrance. You have oak for the desk that I would be sitting at. You have, I chose blackcurrant absinthe just because that really fit the profile at the end. But I mean, I have some cherry tobacco in there. So I just pick pieces out of my mind and these visions and settings that I have. And that's how they become what they are, and that's what I really like about the way I do stuff, because it's not going to be for everybody, because you may not like what goes on in my head, right? So it may not be for everybody. And so if I get any kind of criticism, or I get somebody DM me that says, it's not for me, Adam, I'm not the kind that's going to take that to heart. I totally appreciate that, man, because it's something that I was thinking at the time, and it may not be for everybody, and I'm okay with that.
That's the okay with that is really good. But thank you for taking us through that story. That's an awesome story. And then I think that's the kind of thing that I was looking for right there, was the fact that creativity that comes out, like imagining what it would be like to be, and then somebody else can experience that memory or thought process. Because I think that when you smell these together, it invokes a memory or something like that. And that's what's great. And it's individual to everybody. Just like in your case, maybe somebody else picks up something else. Mm-hmm. But I love that about you can get so many memories. And that was what I really liked. Out of the Zenland, honestly, I was like, I definitely pick up like a kind of a Zenish mode. You know, I had some really good vibes thinking back about some really good memories I had, you know, and it was exactly that scent. And I was just like, wow, how did he, that's just that perfect. That's exactly what that was. Very cool.
Yeah, I appreciate that, man. I really do. I always love when somebody gets it. So I appreciate you, brother.
Yeah, well, that's what, you know, that's what I think that why this beard game is out there is because a lot of people get it. That's why people follow, you know, good companies is because they get it.
Sure.
And especially when they have something that is creative. But then I also see you go on streams and you're just very affable, very personal. And that's the one thing that draws people to a good company is somebody, an owner that is, you know, always humble. I would say that when throughout our texts and our conversations back and forth, humble, appreciative, and creative is what I would come up with if I had a couple words to describe you and what I've learned about you so far. And that was something that is big in this beard game. That's what I love about what draws me to small batch
Mhm.
is that you get to talk to an owner one-on-one.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, it's fun. I don't know. I guess I can't speak for every other owner, but um, I love doing these things, man. I mean, I don't do them crazy often. I've picked up the amount that I've done here recently, but if the shoe fits and the time works, I'm always glad to jump on these things. I love talking to you guys. It's fun for me too.
Yeah, I know. And it's so my buddy Joe is giving you some accolades as well. So if I can find, I think I just hit the wrong button. So hang on. Where was he? There he is. It moved up on me. Uh, so he's saying you're a good man. There we go.
I
Fury
appreciate
finally got his
it.
stuff. So he just received your stuff, and Joe's a good friend of mine, and he's definitely on board. I talked to him the other day, so that's always awesome. That's what's so cool is that you have like I think that there's some companies that people just have a following. And I kind of picked that up from you that you kind of have a following. You have a group of guys that are completely loyal to your, you know, to what you're doing and creating. And I've been able to pick that up from a couple IG messages here and there, which is really cool.
Yeah, I tell you, man, I've been very, very fortunate to have the following that I have. And I think through natural attrition, we kind of just um, attract each other, right? Like my personality is going to mesh with whoever kind of sees me and says, I like that dude, man, or I can see where I would like that guy. And then it's vice versa when you end up having a little bit of chat time. And just a kind of an example of that is, Brett, who's in here now, man. I'm getting home from running an errand the other day, and Emily says, "Did you order something?" And I was like, "No." I was like, "What is it?" And so we opened it up, and it was a pack of cigars. And in my downtime, I like to smoke a pipe and have an occasional cigar. And I'll be damned if it wasn't Brett that just out of the kindness of his heart, we were DMing about him one night and sent me a pack of them, man. And it's like that stuff to me just it kind of translates into the type of person I am and the type of people that I want supporting me. I often say I have no desire to be number one beard company. I don't do this for that purpose. I don't do this to outsell another beard company or have one up on people. I do it because I really love having guys support me that see my vision and can appreciate what I do. And I've developed some really good friendships since doing this.
Isn't that amazing? And I I tell people this. So I was on a conference call today with a fellow beardsman, and I go, "Hey, loving your beard, buddy. What's going on?" And he's like, "Yeah." He's telling me his quarantine beard story, and I'm like, "Hey," and he says, I just started getting into products." I go, "Kind of funny. I know a community for you." And I started, and I get so passionate about it because I get so excited about talking to, especially a new beardsman who's just brand new. He's like a baby beardsman who's just like, I've never even seen these products. I'm like, just wait. It's like a rabbit hole that will just suck you down. And then the community themselves is awesome great bunch of guys. And that's the one thing I was not expecting. I was not expecting this amazing group of very supportive men
with beards and all man.
with beards. Right. I'm used to what I thought about with beards. I was like, biker dude, lumberjack guy.
Right.
I would think, burly, they're manly men. They do. And I find that actually the most open-hearted people I've ever met.
Absolutely. And that goes out to the other owners as well. I mean, so many just good conversations. I've said it on a couple different shows I've been on. I haven't had one bad conversation or had an argument or anything with one person in almost 2 years. Everybody's very gracious, and very appreciative of what the other person is doing. It's super cool.
I think so too. I think that I'm really good friends with some of the other fellow reviewers like Dan, Joe, Johnny Grooms, just awesome reviewers. But then you also get into the community and the beard product folks like Bam, yourself. I'm pretty good friends with Danielle from HummingBerd. Just genuinely good people that want to support you in what you're doing, which, this reviewing game is difficult at times, but I have such great support that I don't flinch. You feel like you're surrounded, and I'm sure that you feel like the same way. I've seen that with the beard companies. Is there some beard companies that you talk to quite a bit that kind of help inspire you?
Well, I'll be honest. I talk to very few beard companies. But the ones I do talk to, I have a great relationship. Iowa Beards is in here. I just got some of their stuff. I just ordered some of their stuff. I ordered their wash and their tobacco bitters. I just ordered some from Brothers Groom. I'm from Indiana, so I had to throw some Indiana.
I love Brothers Groom. Yep.
But I the main reason for that is simply because I don't want to be influenced by anybody else's stuff. It's definitely not I don't care about their stuff or I don't want to try their stuff because I'm a guy just like everybody else in here in the community. It's why I ordered it. Believe it or not, I don't just use Honyocker products. I'm not that vain. You know what I mean? Sometimes I get sick of the humidor. Sometimes I get sick of Avenue Blue. You know what I mean? It's like, so I like to try other stuff. Probably the one that has been the closest to me the longest is Brian from Crusher's Creations. Barbados Joe back in the day got me in contact with him because I was newer at the time and he thought him and I would get along. And now don't get me wrong, you got to be a real a-hole for me not to get along with you. So I mean, but Brian has always done me really well. So I've always communicated a lot with Brian and we've thrown ideas back and forth and stuff. And but I look forward to developing more relationships. I look at it like I'm just getting started. I don't plan on going anywhere. No one gets sick of Avenue Blue. Dan, I'm going to be honest with you, buddy. Get this, man. I kid you not. I get an email the other day from a lady who ordered Avenue Blue for her boyfriend. And she emailed me and told me that she did not like the smell of Avenue Blue. And which, I mean, everybody's different. So I'm not like, what the hell's wrong with you or anything like that. We all have different scent profiles, what we like. But that was a shocker, man. First time in like 2 years I've ever had somebody tell me they didn't care for Avenue Blue, man. That damn scent's made Honyocker.
Interesting. It sounds like something I need to purchase in my next bout. So
she's broken.
Yeah, we gotta love it. So the interesting thing about it is that so I'm going to go back down to some of why did you decide to do this? What made you just jump in and say beard oils is my thing? Beard wash is what I want to produce.
Dan, stop sending packages internationally. Oh man. That's a story that I like to condense down, man, because it's long. My sister's boyfriend at the time always had a long beard, And I always kept it kind of the shorter stuff, not a real long mustache, not a real long anything. Just Adam's got some scruff on his face, just so I'm not barefaced, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she was joking with me one time and said that she Adam, you can't even grow a mustache, So I was like, well, I ain't got anything better to do. Why don't I give it a try, And I'd never really tried to grow out a mustache. I was like, let's do it. And so I grew a handlebar mustache that I wore for about 6 months. And then I'm such a perfectionist with stuff that I was just getting tired of trying to get it. So I was like, snip, took off the length. And then when I took off the length, then I had that 80s cop deal going. And so I was like, man, I got to grow something else to match this, or at least blend in. So I started to grow the beard in, and I was like, I'd never grown my mustache before, and it worked out good. I was like, I've never tried to grow a full beard, so let's do it. And here we are. But as far as getting into the beard making, beard oil and beard product making stuff itself, it really came down to a stereotypical owner's answer, man. I have a very curly, coarse beard that I can't even get a comb through if it's not blow dried out. If I don't do it right the night before, I get up and I could just stick a wide tooth comb in there and let it sit. It's horrible. They look like slinkies, and they do. Um, and uh, and so a lot of the oils that I tried just left me feeling a little brittle, man. They didn't leave me feeling like I needed them to feel. And so I just started doing research. I'm a very research driven person. No matter what it is I'm interested in, I go 100,000,000% in and do research, and just started dabbling. And I noticed that the stuff that I was just making at home gave my beard a completely different feel than some of the other stuff that I had tried. And so that led me to just kind of making some stuff. And then I got into using scents, and then around locally, hey, how you like this? And then enough people liked it. I thought, well, I'll slap a logo on it, sell it here, $5, $5 here locally, just to help out the guys. And I just got a lot of feedback and started having fun doing it. And like we talked about, the artistic aspect of it really started drawing me in. And I tell you, man, if I'm being totally honest, it was really never meant to be as large as I've gotten it so far. And obviously, I'm no mega giant in the beard game, but it has grown a lot for my standards over the last year and a half. It was never meant to be that. It just kept spiraling and spiraling until it was, before you knew it, I was like, all right, man, this is cool. And it just kind of kept on. So it all started from a mustache dare.
I love it. I love stories like that. So I always tell my little 5-cent story. I've been growing something since I was in my 20s, but mostly a mustache and a goatee. I was a goatee for like 15 years. I just had the goatee going, and I was just getting tired of the look. And somebody passed around, and I would grow it out a little bit, and then it would just get so itchy. And then I found essential oils, and I thought maybe something I could do with essential oils and carrier oils, but I couldn't get that itch completely gone until some guy was handed around some balm. So this is Honyocker's. Imagine this is somebody else's, but some balm. He was just holding around some balm from a New York company. And I go, that smells like cologne.
Mm-hmm.
And it was so good that I was like, there's cologne for your beard? And they're like, yeah, it does this and this and this. And I'm just like, down the rabbit hole I went, just on the balm. And at first I thought that that's all they sold was balm. And I didn't know what all the rest was until I watched, like, I binge watched Dan's videos for like a month.
Yeah. Speaking of Dan, are you meaning, will it become my full-time gig, man? Is that what you're asking me? If that's what you're asking me, it is currently my full-time gig already, pal.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, just obviously I'm not like I said Monday when I did the taping with John, I'm not driving around in a Ferrari or nothing, but to me, as long as I can pay bills, put food on the table, and still put money back into the business and work for myself and spend more time with the family and stuff like that, then that's I'm happy with that. And I look at it realistically, like I've been in this for a year and a half, And I feel bad for Dan, because Dan, when I had Dan review my stuff, when I had Dan do my stuff, it was very early on, and Dan got a lot of my stuff from the very beginning. And I've often wondered. I was like, man, I wonder what Dan would think of the stuff that in the last year that I've done that's so much better than the stuff that I sent him originally. But just like anybody, you grow, you learn, you find out new ways, better ways to do things. And I'm just doing it my way. I mean, I may not have the best packaging, the best shipping, the best label, the best this, that, the other, but I'm Adam, man, and that's just the way we're going to do it.
I love that. That's it. And so to me, that's the piece of being American to me. I mean, I don't want to offend other countries, but that to me is what epitomizes being American, is that we can sit down, do our own businesses, and we have that mentality that we can create cool stuff. We can be our own bosses.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in the corporate gig right now, and I'll be honest with you, there's many a day where me and my wife talk and say, boy, wouldn't it be nice to just work for ourselves and be doing this? Now, she has a little bit of an antique business on the side, which is doing shabby chic stuff. And she's tried to get that going, but everybody started doing it, like the DIY stuff. Everybody and their brother started doing it. So it kind of took us down a little bit. But, I'll tell you that I know that you are, being humble, but these are great labels. These are great labels. I was like, these are as professional as I've ever seen. And then what it is. That emblem is awesome. And Honyocker, of course, is in Indiana. Can you give me a little bit more? I've heard a little bit from the Beards of America Honyocker story, but give it again. I love the story.
Yeah, I mean, I live in Illinois, but I was born in Indiana, and I'm definitely a hardcore Hoosier. I don't consider myself an Illinoisan. I consider myself from Indiana. Most of my family, still resides over there, other than my immediate family. But Honyocker was what my grandpa used to call us, because my last name is Han. So when we were little, he would always call us Honyockers. And when I was thinking of what I could call this little weekend gig I was planning on doing, all it was, I was like, Honyocker Beard Co. I wanted it to be something personal, and that's kind of where it is. As soon as I said it, to me at least, I was like, oh, that rolls off real nice, man. Great job, Adam. But
no doubt.
But I did not put into the thought process, nobody else in the right mind is going to know what the hell that means, or how to pronounce that, right? So I didn't take that portion into consideration. So I spent a better part of a year and a half answering how to pronounce that and what it means and stuff. But I wouldn't have it any other way, man, because it's different. It's personal. And it's got a lot of meaning to me and my family. And I think when you create things from within and have that kind of meaning behind what you're doing, it only aids in your progression and the amount of pride you take in what you do.
Yeah, I love that. That's cool. And so I've told you that my granddad's from Indiana, from Vincennes, and yeah, absolutely. And I'm a big Notre Dame fan, so big Indiana kid. Yeah. So and he grew up. He was right on, because that Vincennes is right on the border as well of Illinois, and like the Wabash is the border there, right? So he grew up, stealing watermelons, being shot at by local farmers.
Right.
It's just, he has a lot of great stories from that part of the country. And I grew up, my dad was military, but I grew up in the Midwest as well. So I had my stepdad is from Illinois. So he's from right outside Springfield, a place called Girard, Illinois. And then I also lived sometime near Kansas City. And the Midwest calls you. The Midwest is an awesome place to be from. I think that if you were to think stand up, really good people who are trying to just work a day, trying to get things done. That's my family. And I think that's kind of what draws me to you, is the same thing, is that that really, hard work makes something happen.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's just the mindset of there's always going to be somebody better than you, man. So you just need to stay humble and do the best you can do. And there's going to be some people that are cool with it, some people that aren't. But at the end of the day, if you're doing your best, man, and you're not cutting people down, and you're just trying to be supportive and loving, and you know, whatever, man.
Yeah.
Might sound kind of like a wussy, but I mean, it's the truth, man. I mean, there's no reason to be negative unless there is a reason, so until that reason comes, we just be as cool with as many people as we can, Andy.
No, I completely agree with you, and I that's the reason why the practitioner is in my name, is because that's what I epitomize. I want to be a person that's a light, not somebody who's going to try to put people down. I want to bring positivity. It's funny because when I saw Dan, he was always doing the positive, and he had a lot of the karma type of postings where positivity breeds positivity.
Right.
That's a law of karma. So I was just like, I'm down for this community. And there's so many folks just like you that are willing to talk about just being good people. And I think that for me, age helped me quite a bit, and also 6 kids, patience. 6 kids, 4 grandkids,
Yeah.
that kind of craziness always helps create patience for me. But I'll tell you that that's the driver, is that I think that coming from the Midwest, where you have that ability to realize that hard work produces good results, what you put into it is very important. And that's what my dad was all about, and my dad is like the stepdad. Dad is one of those people that he can build a house, he can fix a car, or he can sit and watch some football with you, and I love that about, that's what I grew up with. I'm that type of person as well, except for I don't know how to fix anything really. I know how to fix computers.
Well, anymore, buddy, that's a necessity.
It has become this is, talk about weird part-time hustle. My degree's in hotel restaurant
Andrew,
management.
thanks, buddy. Thanks for coming in, man.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Thank you. Thank you. So my part-time gig was hotels. So I was a hotel restaurant management major. Thought I was going to end up in restaurants, and ended up in hotels for a bit. And then this was my summer. The company I've been with for like 23 years is my summer gig. Who knew? Just like, I think that, just like this, you started off as like, hey, I'm just going to try something for my beard that makes it feel better. And then it turns into this awesome, you get to do it full time. How cool is that? You have your own business. That is cool. That is cool.
Yeah, and I mean, I hate to say it, man. I don't hate to say it, but even if this all takes a dump on me, I'm still going to be over here making beard oils regardless. So even if I go from here to here, I'm still going to be here doing it. I love doing it. I have fun. Like I said, it's my way of being able to express myself. So even if I just have to do it for myself eventually, that's what we'll do.
Yeah, and I hope that inspires other people. Whatever your thing is, it's from that one movie where they have the cows. I can't remember what it was, with Billy Crystal. And, if you just have just have that one thing that, and that's all you need. And I think that you found it. That's awesome. That's awesome. And that's inspiring to a lot of other people, I think.
Thanks, buddy.
Yeah, yeah. So I love the labels. Now, what is that a Hoosier? What is that?
That's another creation out of my mind, man. I really always give Angie, the gal here locally that did that, so much credit. I don't think she understands when she was doing him up what she was doing, meaning how important it would become to me. It's like a sidekick to me, man. Just this little drawing. But I went to her and I was like, look, man, I need this to represent my family, kind of like we talked about, hardworking, blue collar, kind of hillbilly-ish, I sent her a couple pictures that kind of just to give her a direction of kind of what I was looking to do, and we struggled. I felt really bad because I didn't let her off easy, man. You know, she'd work and work and work and work and send me stuff and send me stuff and send me stuff. And I'm like, dang, Ange, I mean, it's good, hun, but it's just not quite what I have in my mind. And if I'm going to throw this on my bottles, it's got to be right, you know. And she just kept plugging away, man. And one day she sent me, and I was like, holy moly! I was like, I love that little dude. I was like, that's perfect. That's what we're running with, man. And and that's how it was, man. You know, my sister introduced me to Angie. She said, I have a friend that's a graphic artist. If you want to reach out to her about doing your label, I was like, sure. You know, I reached out to her, and she was just so gracious and excited to take it on. And, I tell her all the time, Angie, you should be proud. You did a good job. It's a cool label. I love that dude. At least for me, I love him.
He's awesome. He's an awesome. And I think he's very recognizable. As soon as you see it, you know it's Honyockers, which is exactly what I think as a product owner, what you're looking for.
Correct.
Yeah, cool. And then, you know what I think the other thing is that this also goes to that you don't have to create crazy labels, but this is consistent. Everything has the same logo, has the same logo. And then it also has, a little bit of flair on the name. Like this is Zenlin, has really nice lettering on it, but it's easy recognizable and it's consistent. I think that's the biggest thing. And then I like the fact that it lasts. To me, labeling that lasts is really cool. I don't think it's what's in the bottle that mostly matters, but I think that when you know that you're getting quality when they're putting thought into every aspect of their company, and it comes off as the first thing you see is this label.
Yeah, I mean, and dude, there's so many cool labels, man.
There are.
I mean, but for me, in the way I am as an individual, being congruent just happens to blend with Adam. And now you'll notice like the balm and the tint, the balm and the butter labels have more of like a greenish, brownish colored label on them versus the oils, which are gray. Now, the reason that is because the brownish greenish color label that's on the balms and the butters is actually the original color that Angie had done for him. And I wanted like a grayish color. So I thought to myself, I'm gonna do my oils gray, and I'm gonna pay homage to the original way it was done and keep that color for my balms and the butter. So that's why there's two different.
Yeah, it's still really cool. I like them. They're classic. They're classic. And I definitely like the recognizable gentleman there. I love it. Totally love it. So, and now that you know, and the cool thing about it is when there's stories behind it, it makes you like it even more. To me, that's what makes it more exciting is that I get to talk to owners and get their perspective. And then you're like, man, that's so cool. What a cool story.
Yeah, actually, there's so much that goes on behind the scenes that, most people just buy something, even if we're at Walmart or wherever we're at, we buy something. We don't really think about all the work and who designed this and why it's this way, or, it's kind of like we just get the product and whatever it may be, and there's just so much that goes on behind the scenes that gets forgotten about. And I like to give credit where credit's due. I mean, I could sit here and talk about, Adam thought about this guy to put on the label, but at the end of the day, I had some gracious woman over here, busting her behind, drawing this thing up by hand for me. Like I'll mention her all day long, every day. She put the work in,
That's awesome. And that's goes along with your personality, I think. So that's awesome. So this is now your full-time gig. What were you doing prior to this?
For the last 7 years, I was the general manager of a Gold's Gym here in town.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I did that, and but just this was the goal. This was the goal. Like I said, not be number one, not get rich, but can I make enough money doing this to where I can, pay bills, put food on the table, all the essential stuff, and
That's cool.
And then, like I said, I'd rather trade the a lot of the other stuff. And I've also been very fortunate, Andy. My fiance is so wonderful, man. Um, you know, She just takes care of me, buddy. She's got a good job, but it's more than that, man. She never once looked at me like I was like, Adam, what are you doing? You want to start a beard company? I mean, she's right there beside me, helping me make decisions and supportive, and she's a big reason as to why we've been able to be as successful as we have. Great behind the scenes with managing numbers and keeping us in the right space as far as the business aspect and stuff. But I definitely have some help, man. I'm not sitting here saying Adam's doing it all on his own.
Right, but it's this. I think that's family support is what makes it worthwhile to me. I think that when you have that support from your family, because they have to invest in it too. This is partly their gig too, because they have to be a part of it. They're going to have to know that there's things that you can and cannot do. There's going to be, hey, I got to get this product out. I got, 100, I got to get these 100, I got 100 orders. I got to get them out. I got to have somebody helping me out,
Yeah.
come on, kids, let's go do some stuff. And sometimes that, and I think having that understanding and support is a very important piece, because I don't think without the support, we get very far.
I'll tell you a little secret. Behind closed doors, I'm an anxious, high motor, nervous wreck all the time. And there's a lot of times where I'm out doing other things, and we'll get orders come in. And by the time I get home, she's already got orders packed up, waiting for me to hand sign the cards that I send out with stuff. And she's on it, man. She's a good girl.
Yeah. And is that Emily, I take it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep. She's in house. Awesome. I'm so glad. That's that's the kind of support that we need, is that, especially, and I just go from the men perspective. And there's so many different types of relationships, so don't get me wrong, but I appreciate that kind of support from from somebody who's just going to tell you as it is sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the reason why, I'll be honest with you, that's why I married my wife, is she was no BS. What you see is what you get. She's about taking care of business, and she had 3 boys, of course. So you knew that you were getting into.
Right.
And so she's always been like that. And she keeps me always thinking and always making sure that I'm on my game. Like, hey, I don't spend every hour doing this, is what her big thing is. Don't spend every hour doing this, but you make sure that family's there and that you support her as well. But I think that in that aspect, you have that kind of give and take where you guys are taking care of each other.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing. I don't get me wrong. It's not like packing orders and talking business at the dinner table is romantic and fun, right? But it does. It's something we get to do together. We're
Yes.
in it together. We have the same goal. We love seeing people appreciate what we do. We love interacting with people. So it's just something else we can do together, which makes it better.
I think that's what makes a good relationship strong. I've talked to a number of guys that that's the part that helps them. That's that better part. I always, so me and my wife, she's not so much as in the beard game, but she's really into gardening, and I'm the lifter. So I help with the garden by doing soil and, picking up huge bags of soil. And then, but that's the thing that we have is like our thing together is that I will go out, she'll be watering, we'll go out and everybody gets to chat to mom while she's gardening. And that's like her moment of zen. But then also it kind of puts her in a better mood right after work. She's it's a good space. It's a good space. And sometimes being able to take your mind off of, like in this case, she's maybe taking her mind off of what she's got going on at work to come help you out. Something different, something that you guys have in common, that you guys, a good goal. It's a goal to have together. Like we have this garden, and, I think that we started off as like, can I grow some plants? And now it's like, how many tomatoes can we get off this thing and give to other people?
The good old tomato, man.
We literally have, and I don't know if I have them, I'll have to post them on Instagram, but we had this one tomato plant that probably wouldn't die. And we live in Arizona, so we don't have to go through some of the hard winters. We planted it last year, and this thing probably produced close to 1,000 tomatoes.
Holy smokes.
Yeah, if not more. I mean, it's been alive. My wife just killed it, and she just killed it because she's OCD and was like, I don't like the way it looks right now. So I'm like, okay, whatever. It's getting hot again. So, this is the time where you start doing that.
I don't like the way the plant looks right now. It's going down.
She's an all or nothing type of gal. She has this, like, she planted something, and I was just like, hey, why is that moved now? And she's like, it doesn't look aesthetically pleasing to me.
Yeah.
It's like, it's fun. It's good times. And that's what I just absolutely love that about her. And I think it sounds like you have that same thing where somebody can appreciate what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And there's very few people. There's not a lot of people out there that can appreciate what you're doing and who you are. And when you find them, you stay on them, right?
Yeah, I've been very fortunate, man. Truly have. Couldn't have done it with anybody else. That's for sure.
That's awesome. And you have 2 daughters, right? Or you have two kids,
Yep, I have a daughter and a son of my own, and then Emily has a daughter. And I just got fortunate that everybody's around the same age within a year of each other, so we can get them all out of the house at the same time.
I love that. We had the most of that. So most of our kids are now, well, some of them are staying in house, but 2 of them we decided to have our own. So he's just kind of along for the ride, but he's that like kid that we're like, yeah, we've already raised all our other kids and they've thrown fire, they've done this and crazy, crazy, crazy stuff. As long as you just play in the street, okay.
Right.
As long as you're not getting cops called or we're okay. We're
Right.
okay. That's all we're looking for is like do your homework and be okay. And he's a great kid actually. Caden's my little sidekick.
Yeah, man. Absolutely. Seems like he's full of energy, great attitude, at least on camera, man.
You know what? That's his personality. Other than the fact that he's 11 and right now he thinks that he's got to make weird noises. I don't know what that's all about at 11. I don't remember that happening, but he makes this stuff on the fly. I don't know how he does it. He just on the fly kids. He just is a natural, right in the camera. And I think that goes with this generation kind of. Yeah. I talked to Joe from Beard Life and his daughter's very similar where they become alive in front of the camera. Caden's pretty lively already. I mean, the things he says, I'm just like, did that just come out of my kid?
Yeah, I mean, I can tell when I watch your videos, man, that he's ready to go. He likes to talk. He likes to get his opinions out there, which I think is awesome, man.
Yeah.
Some kids would be real shy about doing that. I know if I put mine on there, he probably wouldn't even look at the camera and wouldn't even want to talk. So for him to be that way is kind of cool, man.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. When he was like 5 or 6, we went to this, and I used to do Facebook Live back in the day. And we were just out and about in this one place in Sedona, Arizona, which is absolutely beautiful. And he's just like animated, jumping around. And I'm just like, this kid has a character about him. He's pretty funny. And he just comes up with funny stuff. So what is it your kids are into right now? So they're in that verge of adulthood. So are they thinking about college, tech school?
My kids are like me. My kids are fly by the seat of their pants. Now, Emily's kid, her daughter, Haley, she's got a good head on her shoulders, man. She's going to be going off to college here in a few months.
Awesome.
She's more, she's like her mom, very career path driven, knows what she wants to do, takes that serious. Mine are a little, like I said, a little more fly by the seat of their pants. They're probably going to have to earn their way through life.
I have about 4 of those.
Yeah.
I have one son who is absolutely brilliant. He is just like yourself, very artistic. He can pick up stuff in 5 seconds. He watches a YouTube video. He understands how to do it, and he's doing it.
Mm-hmm.
He's took on auto detailing. He's also a part-time rapper / beats maker. Yes, he has a whole lot of, and he's an artistic guy. He picked up the guitar in like 3 months, and he probably played as well as I know people who've been playing 10. And I'm always just like impressed, but he's the hard knock. He's going to be the school of hard knocks. Like it's got to knock him down a couple times because he's
Yeah,
just like, he'll do that. And then he'll switch lanes and want to go do this. And just like, you could stick with something that has some money in it, please.
yeah, yeah.
But yeah, it's always fun. And I have 2 girls myself. So 2 girls there's always been a craziness. I think girls are so different than boys. Now, your boy, is he into, what's he into? Does he do sports? Does he?
Well, Dominic was, I raised him loving Indiana basketball because once again in Indiana we love our basketball.
Yep.
So he played basketball year round since he was probably 4 years old. We'd take him up to Chicago to the AAU tournaments and drop a crap ton of money to do the weekends up there. And then he got into golf when he got a little bit older because I like to golf and came really good on that, really good at that. But then, he kind of started transitioning out of that into, like a lot of boys do, into the guitar thing or into girls or, these different things like that. So, he is a lot like me. His interests change quite a bit. Um, my daughter's also like me. She's more of a recluse. Doesn't really like to venture out too much. But like Emily's daughter Haley, once Emily said everyone has a path, they just have to find that path in their own way sometimes. Yeah, I'm 40 and I'm still trying to find my path.
Aren't we all? Aren't we all? It's a journey, not a destination.
Man. But yeah, I mean, all the kids are good though, man. And at the end of the day, sometimes successful, in my opinion, comes across in different ways. As long as you end up being a genuine good person with a good heart, then I'm happy with the way my kids turned out. That's all I can ask.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with it too. I think I gave up. I had this dream that my daughters were going to go, or at least one of them would go to Notre Dame.
Mm-hmm.
And when none of them did that, when first one just didn't have the grades. The second one, she was straight A's until she found boys.
Mm-hmm.
And then that was the end of my dream of having a Fighting Irish. But you still, that's at the end of the day, successful is based off of, are they happy with their life? Are they genuinely good people who are willing to give themselves to others and, want to benefit other people? I think that's a huge thing. And, my kids aren't always doing that. They're not, but they are on that. I think they're on the right path. And I think it sounds like your kids are in that same space. And they got a good dad.
Well,
So
I'll tell you, man, like a lot of times you can't choose somebody's path for them. You can give them a somewhat of a direction and try to help them out. But at the end of the day, as much as they're from us, they're still their own people, man.
That was my biggest lesson with my teenagers. You're absolutely right. That was my biggest lesson, because you get to that point to where now they have minds of their own at teenager land. I think it happens like in 6th or 7th grade, where all suddenly you are not the most important person in their life, or even close. You're like you're like the
13th.
last person.
Yeah, like 13th.
Yep. So, and I just absolutely love, and it's interesting what they choose to want to do. One of my daughters is really into Comic-Con and being into the Star Wars. Say that again?
There's a lot of people into that.
There are indeed. I did not realize there was a thing. She was trying to explain to me the other day what Drury was. And I was like, what is this? It's like fan fiction. I was like, what's fan fiction? What does that mean? So I guess what it is that people are making stories based off of characters in movies that they would like to see together. Like, hey, they have a relationship. And so she has all these different fan fiction. And it's just like entire applications developed for this fan fiction of creativity again. People loving, creative things, and then, taking their love for comics or for, sci-fi music or movies or whatever, and being able to do that. And I love that because that's that creation thing again.
Yeah. Jeff said, I'm 55, just glad I can still walk. See, Jeff's my boy, man, because he's another Indiana guy. Brett, dude, I'll tell you, like the guys that are hanging around in here, I'll tell you, man, I'm very fortunate because they show me a whole lot of support, man.
Oh, I see, there's a guy right there, right just down the road. Oh,
Yeah, Jeff, I'll tell you what. Look, even in his picture, he's rocking his shirt. You know,
yeah, that's
that
awesome.
guy's something else. I love his personality too. He's a firecracker. He may be 55, but I can tell he's a firecracker.
Yeah, that's awesome. Do you know what? That's what I think about when my friend. I don't think people understand that I'm in a big city where nobody talks to other, but in the Midwest is such a different place. It's a different place, a different mentality. You know your neighbors. You talk to your neighbors. You know pretty much every. Are you in a small town, a big town? Where are you at?
About 30,000, something like that. Not real small, but nothing big. You know,
Yeah.
just the essentials. You know.
Yeah, but you know the people. You know the people in your neighborhood. You probably talk to them.
Yeah, yeah. I know a lot of people now that I ran the gym in town. That's for sure. That really opened my eyes to open up a lot of relationships there, working at the gym, working with the public and stuff. But it's not a bad town by no means. Middle class town. You
Nothing
know.
wrong with that.
You know. Just your good little town.
Yeah. Now, what's their big thing around there? Are they farmers? Are they coal miners? What?
Definitely farming around here for sure. Got a lot of farmers that came into the gym. We had a really good, senior citizen crowd that came into the gym, believe it or not, even though it was a gold. And they had a group of them that go out to eat afterwards and all kinds of stuff. But a lot of farming around here. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. Now, what are they farming? Just like corn or feed corn? Well, I know in
A lot of
Illinois,
corn.
where I grew up, there's a lot of feed corn.
Yeah. Corn, beans.
Nice, nice. Yeah, I missed that part. In Arizona, they have a lot of cotton, some orange citrus stuff, but it's not like farming in the Midwest where it's just rows and rows and, acres and acres of just open farmland where people are growing stuff. And, especially back when I was in the 80s, there was a lot of local farmers where it was small farmers until, some of the stuff that happened during the 80s where, the farm aid and stuff like that because of just the economy dropped out for those guys. So I don't know if I think there's still a lot of good small farms still hanging around in the Midwest, I think.
Yeah. I mean, you drive down Main Drag here, and as soon as you get 2 minutes out of town, it's farms.
Love it. Love it. I miss that because, here it's just too hot. It's desert. So they have a lot of farming, but it's like there's a lot of water involved with farming out here. And so a lot of it's cotton and stuff that can grow easily. And then, Phoenix, Arizona, people don't believe it, but there's a lot of corn that comes out of here.
Really?
There is a lot of corn. Yeah. It's one of the 4 C's, I think. We have 4 C's. One of them's climate. One of them's corn, cotton, and cattle. So we have a lot of cattle out here as well. We got a lot of free ranging. Like up north, if you go up north, you'll see a lot of farm, and then there's a lot of dairy. I like where we used to live. We live in the city now, but right outside the city, there's a small town called Maricopa, and it's surrounded by dairy farms.
Man, it's so funny. I've actually never been to Arizona. I've been past Arizona, but never stopped in Arizona. But I just it shows you, like, if you haven't gone or you don't really look into it, what little you know.
Yeah, it's an interesting place. It's an interesting place. I think that, and so, but you grew up. Now, what made you moved from Indiana to Illinois? Just job or?
That would be my dad's job.
No, gotcha.
So I didn't grow up in Indiana. We moved over here when I was younger, but I spent a lot of my time going back and forth to Indiana because that's where my family was. And I don't know, man, I just connected with everything over there. I think I just felt like that's where my family was from, since it was just my immediate family here in Illinois. I always just connected more with Indiana.
I get it.
My family's a brainwashing family, though. Like they tell you what you're supposed to think and how you're supposed to feel growing up.
I know that one. I know that one. And that's, it's just like, hey, that's the way we raise our kids. There's nothing wrong with that. I get it. And it's just the way that my dad was the same way. My dad was military, so it was very strict. He wasn't it wasn't like a mean person, but he just was very strict about and very disciplined about way things were to be done.
Now, did you guys have to move a lot? I hear that a lot in military families.
I did. Every 4 years, I was somewhere different. I lived 8 years overseas. We did 2 tours in England, and then we lived in the Midwest we lived in Missouri at Whiteman Air Force Base for about 4 years. We lived in California for a bit. We did a thing in Scott for a bit, place in New Mexico. And then my dad met my mom in Tucson.
So can I ask you, growing up, like, was that a positive effect on you? Did that have a positive effect on you, or did you not like it?
So, yeah, I loved it. Now, there are people that don't embrace it, and those people, there's two types of military brats, and there's the ones that embrace it and will talk your head off and are very out there and social, and then I have friends that are the introverts. So I'm an extrovert, and I have a lot of military brat friends that are introverts. And it's just because you had to be either one or the other. You had to be like, hey, I don't have a lot of friends, and I'm okay with not having any friends. Or I want to have a lot of friends, but I can't. I know that tomorrow you may leave. So I'm just always friendly and bubbly to everybody.
That's so interesting, man, because, as you're growing up, to the majority, I would assume, of kids growing up, it's important to have friends, and it's important to feel like you have a group that you can be with. Adam, that cut is awesome. Well, man, I figure if I don't have to sit at the gym all day anymore and look as proper, Tyson, I'll just go my own way, brother. Who knows how long it'll last, man? But I was buzzing my hair, and now if you guys can see, like, if I bend down, it's an illusion, guys, because I'm really balding so bad it's not funny. This is so thin, it's like almost not even there except for like the front side. So that's why, if you see me from the back, it disappears. I'm losing my hair bad, guys. So we're trying to give one last little hurrah.
High and tight, right? High and tight.
Yeah.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that. So you know what I miss? Here's what I miss about small towns in the Midwest is going to the barber shop. And I used to get my hair cut and I still, even if I go back, she's probably not cutting hair anymore, but if I go back to Girard, I always get my hair cut. And whether I need a haircut or not, I go to the same barber I've been going to all my life. Just because that's the place to hang out, go hang out, have a story, and then you catch up on everything that's happened over sometimes the last 5-6 years. And, but it's that hangout place, it's like where everybody's hanging out, talking. I love that. I love that about Midwest barbershops. They don't have that as much in big cities.
Well, I'll tell you what, that's another thing. Real quick, Tyson, I'll hit you up, brother. No problem whatsoever, man. I'm just appreciative that you jumped on tonight while I was on here, man.
Yeah, Tyson's awesome.
But that's another thing. I mean, that's part of the reason I'm able to do this full time is because my local support is ridiculous. I mean, these guys are posting, sharing stuff constantly. I'm getting people new all the time. Hey, I heard about you from this person, that person. I've got barbershops getting a hold of me left and right to, have my gear in the shop, and they're not afraid to just like push your product for you and say, man, you need to try this. This is good. This is, I've had a lot of stuff in my shop, but you got to try this. And it really just has, the local crew has really, really helped me out a lot, man. And I don't know if you get that in other areas, like bigger cities or whatnot. But here, where we're kind of smaller, everybody looks out from each other. You constantly see buy local, buy local, buy local. And they mean it, man. They do. They help me out quite a bit.
Yeah, that's awesome. In Arizona, I think that there's a mixed. I know that there's a couple like farmer market guys that I've run into. We have Live Bearded here in town. So, it's huge. Some huge boys are here in town. I think Live Bearded is here. Husky is here in town. There's a number of fairly good sized companies here in
Mhm.
town. And it's just really interesting because you wouldn't even, it's just such a big business. It's just like for Live Bearded, they just have a warehouse. It's crazy to go in that place. It's like so well run that you're like, this is run by a small military.
Right.
Yeah, they're just really huge. And but you don't get that same feel. I don't think that, there's so many barbershops here. There's like within Mesa, I can throw a stone and there's probably 10 or 15 barbershops within 5 miles of each other.
Yeah, that's one thing, man. Like people are always like, kind of look at me funny when I say this, but I don't know that I want to get bigger than a certain point, man. Um, because then you lose the personal touch on things, especially when you don't have several guys together running stuff, several different people answering DMs, several different people answering emails. I like to be in control of that because I know the way I want my customer service to be, you know.
That's
I,
a hard one because then there's that balance between how many orders can I process and then stay small batch and
Mhm.
being able to do it my way. I've had that discussion actually with Danielle from HummingBerd because I said, do you have a plan for if you guys get bigger, what happens? Like what happens when your orders get too big and
Mhm.
you can't, then the one man band isn't happening. I've seen some companies trying to do it,
Mhm.
but, and I think, I don't know, I don't know what how much business you do. And I know that you're fairly a good size, you're now a very good size company. Is there like a certain point to where you say, now what are
Well,
your
I
plans to
look at it like
stay in that
this.
small batch place? Go ahead. Ooh.
Well, I mean, I literally, I feel like I'm in control of how big I let it get.
Mm-hmm.
Like if I want to pay for more Facebook ads, if I want to pay for Instagram, if I want to reach more people and pay, to advertise more and stuff like that, then I can do so. When I get to a point where I'm where I want to be, if I get to that point, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm making enough to where I can not work another job right now, but there's so much room to growth that still can handle within here. Like I
That's
don't,
awesome.
so I've got plenty of room still to grow, and I'm already at a point where I can do this and get by. So, I've got a little
Good.
leeway yet. You know what I mean?
That's
Um,
good. And I think the fact that you're doing it a full-time gig shows that commitment and that you can be able to have that growth. Because I think being a second, like a side hustle, I think it becomes extremely hard to get any bigger.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing, man, is I don't know that I want to get huge. I mean, money's not everything to me,
True.
and that's different for everybody. I can't speak for everybody, but for me, like I like to be at a peace of mind, be able to enjoy my family time, and I'll just manage it as long as I can stay within that scope of things, man. Obviously, I want to grow more,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't need to be in Walmart. I don't strive to be on Walgreens or CVS or whatever. I just want to keep control of it so that I can manage exactly how it's done, customer service wise, interacting, ads, promoting it, any of that stuff. I don't want to lose that personal touch, man.
I love that, and that's what to me, and that what endears a company like yourself into why I buy it is because I can tell that you have that personal touch into it, and that means something to you. It
Mhm.
means something to me too because I get it. I recognize that somebody's who's putting they're putting it all in. They place their chips in, and they're just saying, "This is it. This is what I want to do, and I'm okay with where I'm at." And accepting where you're at. And that's awesome. I love that. And I think the small batch thing is letting you still keep that control. You're small enough. And I love the fact that you're saying that you you kind of have some ideas about where you want to go and you have that, where you want to go, which is,
Mhm.
future proof. That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. And like I said, I have help with Emily. Like she's the business, a lot of business behind the scenes,
Hmm.
bookkeeping, all that kind of stuff is all on her. I go to her, look, I want to do this. Is it the right time to do this?
Yeah. Good. Good.
She's the one that gives me the okay on it because realistically, when a business runs good, in my opinion, you have to know what lane you're in. If you're not the financial person, then stay the hell out of the financial aspect of it, right? You know what I
I
mean?
completely agree.
Yeah, you stick in your own lane. I'm the creative person. So if we need something else, then I go to her. Can we do this? You know?
Yeah, I completely agree. And my wife is the bookkeeper in our house, and us it's also her job. And I just, what we can afford and what we can't.
Correct.
And this is where I'm going, my aspirations. What can we do to get there? And sometimes it's sometimes it's a lesser form of that, of this, grandiose, but it's realistic. And I think that that's really good to have that kind of aspect when somebody. That's awesome. It's a partnership. That's a true partnership. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I hate to say this, but we've had so much fun that it's just we're at an hour and 15 minutes. I am on call tonight.
Yeah, brother. It's your show, man. I'm just here for
Yeah,
you, brother.
yeah.
Man.
Yeah. So this is the part of the IT engineering job that doesn't come with. I got woken up at 5:30 in the morning, and now I'm on call again to go look at fun stuff with IT. So. However, I really, really enjoyed our conversations today. Again, great stories. Wonderful to have you on. Tell me a little bit about what's going on in the next month, 2 months, and maybe a little bit of future things that are going on for you, so that some of our people out here are going to hear some awesome stories about where you're going.
Yeah, well, I think next in line for us really is to complete our one-stop shop. So I know Jeff mentioned something about it not too long ago, but it's been in the works. I'm going to try to really get us a beard wash to go with our outstanding co-wash that's out there. I think that's most needed before anything else. And because with the scent stuff, like we talked to Andy, I'm never going to rush that, man. So I can't tell people when the next one's coming out because I don't even know. You know what I mean?
Awesome. Yep, it's on the head.
But I think I'd rather do something like get the beard wash out there, because our co-wash is so well known at this point that it needs its sidekick with it. So I think that's the next endeavor for us. Probably going to follow you, buddy, and get some different type hats made up, since we just released the new black shirts. We'll get some different kind of hats made up. And just, dude, that's the fun part, baby. We're flying by the seat of our pants, man. You know what I mean? I don't want to necessarily have a curriculum. I'm out of school. You know what I mean?
That's awesome.
So we'll just do it as we do it.
Yeah, I love to hear that, man. That's really cool, and I really appreciate your time. This was a really awesome conversation. And we'll, and I definitely will have you on again. I think that hearing some stories. I love cigars, so that's always an awesome story. Hearing some good stories about maybe sitting back and enjoying a good cigar. That's always a good piece. And there's so many. I love the fact that you have such great small town folks that are supporting you. I love the fact that you have a community of IG guys that are in that space as well. And I think that you create that by who you are as a person. So I really appreciate that, and I really appreciate you coming on. I'm always humbled to have a good company owner come on.
Well, buddy, I'm humbled that you even consider me that to ask me to come on. Trust me, that's the way I feel, brother. So, Andy,
Yeah.
I appreciate you, man.
Yeah, totally fun. And thanks for everybody who was watching. I know that, there was a lot of great comments. I tried to keep up with them, but I really love hearing from my guests, and I just love the stories and things that are going on for them. So I hope that you guys got a taste of Honyocker. Adam.
Yeah, thanks so much, guys. I really do appreciate it, that you would take the time to come listen to me answer questions, and to me to talk a little bit is flattering, and I'm truly honored. So thank you all for coming in.
Yeah, and hit that thumbs up and like and subscribe.
For sure.
That's my new YouTube. I forget that I'm supposed to say that stuff because I get so excited about talking this stuff that I'm like, hey, subscribe to me too.
Yeah, man. Hey, there's nothing wrong with asking that. That's what we're doing, buddy. We want more people to watch you. You run a good show, brother.
Thank you very much, Adam. And we will have you on again soon. So we'll talk to you soon.
See you guys. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you guys for coming on in.